Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. A ton of intriguing matchups week 2, right? You got Texas going on the road to play Alabama. You got Texas A&M Miami. Fire me up for the Ole Miss Rebels going on the road and playing the Tulane Green Wave, one of the most impressive teams in the country all of last year. They opened up against South Alabama this year, looked phenomenal. I'll tell you what, I think Coach Fritz is one of the best coaches in the country. I think Michael Pratt is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. And then on the other side, you talk about a team I'm extremely high on heading into the season. I've kind of said in the offseason, Ole Miss, I think, is a dark horse in the SEC. You ask me who I think might be considered the best quarterback in that SEC conference towards the end of the year. I think it would be Jackson Dart. I think there's a strong argument for that with all the weapons he has around him. This is going to be a very, very fun game. I think a lot of Ole Miss fans know to take Tulane seriously. This is a very impressive program run by a very impressive head coach and run by a very, very impressive quarterback. Excited to get into this one. Now, before we do, again, just want to say thank you to you guys. The support for all these game breakdowns has been absolutely phenomenal. Can't thank you guys enough for all of the support. So if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. But more importantly, the best part about doing these is talking ball, learning from you guys in the comments section. So whether you're on Tulane, whether you're on Ole Miss, whether you agree or disagree with my takes, let me know in the comment section what you guys are thinking. Again, I love talking ball with you guys in the comment section. And without further ado, let's get into this matchup. And I want to start with Ole Miss on the offensive side of the ball. We'll get to Michael Pratt and Tulane on offense, who are, again, really, really good offense. But I've been talking a lot during the offseason about Jackson Dart and what he can do going into year 2 at Ole Miss. You saw Lane Kiffin bring in Walker Howard, bring in Spencer Sanders to compete with Jackson Dart with the idea to elevate Jackson Dart's game. And everything you read out of fall camp, everything you saw last Saturday against Mercer was Jackson Dart has taken that competition and done exactly what Lane Kiffin wanted and elevated his game. Extremely efficient, extremely accurate. And you saw him consistently make the throws that he was missing last year. And then you talk about I guess I'll say, I think you're going to see a jump from Jackson Dart that reminds you a little bit of Matt Corral's jump his last year at Ole Miss, where once you get year 2 into this Ole Miss system with all the moving parts, with how fast they want to run, the better a quarterback understands that system, the more efficiently and faster this Ole Miss offense will be able to run. That's why I'm so excited about Jackson Dart. But I think more importantly to Jackson Dart's success, there were a lot of talk about you lose John Mingo, you lose Malik Heath. Who are the playmakers on the outside to help Jackson Dart? Let me introduce you to Trey Harris. The transfer from Louisiana Tech, I believe, broke a program record with 4 touchdowns in his debut for Ole Miss. He just looks like a dude, right? Big, great body control, extremely physical after the catch. I was extremely impressed with Trey Harris. Jordan Watkins, I feel like everyone forgot about him coming back. Speedster, can blow the top off of defense. You have Michael Trigg, the true freshman. Aiden Williams looked really good. And we haven't even gotten to arguably the best running back in the country, Quinshon Judkins. And that's where I think could be the biggest mismatch for Ole Miss. Tulane, if there was one thing they didn't do that great, which they did a lot of things really good last year, they weren't great stopping the run. Ole Miss, as much as the hype to this air raid system of Lane Kiffin and throwing the football, Ole Miss is a team that wants to run the football. They have a phenomenal offensive line with a phenomenal running back. I'm a little bit worried about Tulane stopping the run and kind of getting Ole Miss off the field. And if they want to load the box and try to stop this potent rushing attack, Jackson Dart, I think, has the guys on the outside to kind of make some plays. So this Ole Miss offense, I think, is going to score points. Now the question is, can Tulane keep up with Ole Miss? Because I feel like it's got a little track meet vibes to it. I feel like both these offenses are going to want to go fast and they're going to want to score fast. Now the question is, and I think Ole Miss will be able to score. Again, Tulane loses 4 of their leading tacklers from last year. It's a really good program, but they lost a decent amount of production last year, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Now the question is, can Michael Pratt score and keep up with this Ole Miss offense? And there's a lot of reason to be excited about this, especially Ole Miss, sometimes leaky in the back end. I think they brought a lot of transfers in that you like to shore it up. Michael Pratt against South Alabama, 14 of 15 for 293 yards. Seemed like every time he dropped back, I mean, that's about as efficient and as good as you can get. Seems like every time Michael Pratt dropped back, he was able to find an explosive play. Ole Miss has struggled in the past, giving up some explosive plays. For Ole Miss on defense, I think there is a little bit of the national media sleeping on what this unit can be. Not only do you bring in Pete Golden, this is for me. I think Ole Miss has I think Ole Miss has the guys to have a really good defense, and we haven't really been able to say that in the past. Lane Kiffin has gone to the transfer portal, try to revamp this defense. This is probably the most talented this Ole Miss defense has been since Lane Kiffin's been there. You take a look at some playmakers there. I'm going to start with the true freshman, Suntarine Perkins, led the team in tackles against Mercer. He just looks like a dude, right? And Ole Miss is not necessarily used to having those kind of playmakers on the defensive side of the ball. Ladarius Tennyson, I thought, looked really good. Cedric Johnson looked really good. I think Ole Miss has finally gotten those guys on the defensive side of the ball to take that step. I think the new defensive coordinator and Pete Golden really, really like that. So it gets down to the pick. Ole Miss coming in as 7-point favorites on the road against Tulane, a team that I think can score a lot of points. Now the question is, can Tulane keep up with Ole Miss and just kind of beat them in a track meet? As much as I like this Tulane team, and this pick has nothing to do with me saying Tulane. I think Tulane might drop this game, win out, and they're still. I think they'll still play for a New Year's Six bowl. I really do. I think that's how good Tulane is. That being said, this Ole Miss team I'm extremely high on. I think Jackson Dart has taken that step going into year 2 with this offense. I think he's got as good, if not better, guys around him in terms of making plays. You have Quinshawn Junkins going into year 2. I think you have a dominant offensive line. Ole Miss is going to score points. I think Ole Miss has enough guys on the defensive side of the ball to get some turnovers, to get some key stops. So give me Ole Miss going on the road. I think they'll be able to run the football against this Tulane team, maybe keep Michael Pratt off the field. But any way you slice it, this game is going to be absolutely phenomenal. It's going to be really, really hot. I believe 95 plus degrees down there. That tempo might get to this. That tempo for Ole Miss's offense might get to the Tulane defense, especially in the second half. Again, so many, and I like the over a little bit too, because I think both these teams score. I know Ole Miss fans, I'm high in the defense too, but Michael Pratt is that dude. Michael Pratt is very, very good. At the end of the day, I think Ole Miss is going to be a track meet. I think it's really hard to beat an Ole Miss team in a track meet. Both these teams, absolutely love them. This is one of the games I'm most excited to watch during this weekend slate, and that's saying a lot because there are a lot of good games on. Fire me up for this one. Again, 2 teams I absolutely love. I'm rocking with Ole Miss to cover the 7 points. Appreciate you guys rocking with the boys. If you do enjoy the content, again, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.